There we go. All righty. We got computer's got a mind of its own. There we go. So today what I want to do is what I do with you all the time, hopefully, is to give you some tools that you can walk away with to help you to recognize the early symptoms of physical, emotional, and mental stress in life, utilize strategies to fortify a champion's mindset and accelerate professional success, but then position the adversity as an accelerator to success despite overwhelming adversity. So, if anybody doesn't know me, this is what I look like on a good day before working from home, but obviously not so much these days. But I'm Lisa Holmes, and I'm an HR strategist. I've been in HR more than 30 years at this point. I've been a keynote speaker. I've authored a best selling career book that I released last year called Job Hunting Now What? Keeping It Real in a Modern Career Search. And most of what I do these days is working with organizations to align their human capital, right? So, how to be strategic around the HR function so we can get the best from our people and best business results. So, I've been a little bit of everywhere here speaking and had the ability to share with many different companies, fortunately. So 2020, when I started 2020 this year, I thought, wow, okay, so 2020, everybody I think probably had what they consider to be some significance around 2020. Like we all know it is 2020 vision, right? And a lot of people created, vision boards or had their resolutions around 2020 vision. And so I think we are without saying that 2020 has turned out to be something quite different than what we anticipated. So right now there's, probably 3.9 million unemployed folks right now. So we didn't see that coming. We didn't see coronavirus coming. And we didn't see the racial unrest that we see right now at the magnitude that we're seeing it. So 2020, and I'm probably safe in saying with everybody on this line, has probably not turned out to be the way we anticipated it. However, here we are. As a result, what I see though is, and justifiably so, right, that all of these things have created what is called the 5 stages of grief. And this ensues when there's kind of a pivotal moment, some stressor, something, right, that causes us to feel out of control of our lives. And then something happens to cause us to be more emotional. And our emotions get the best of us because we're out of control with whatever we are accustomed to controlling in this environment. So, in the 5 stages of grief, you see at the very top denial and isolation. The first reaction in such situations as what we've been experiencing in the external environment is to deny that this really could be happening. You're just kind of in utter disbelief. You can't believe what you're seeing, what you're hearing, and it's all a natural response because we want to block out the immediate shock of what's happening. In this stage, we tend to tell the story of, what used to be. We think about it over and over, right? How did this happen to me? And we just can't really figure it out. Like, where did this all come from? And we couldn't have predicted any of what we just saw, right? Massive unemployment, corona, racial unrest. We couldn't have predicted it. But however, right, we have to figure out a way to get past the denial and moving through the other four stages to really get on the other side of it. So the next is anger. So we brace ourselves for when the reality starts to set in and we start to feel angry. Memories of life as it used to be kind of comes crashing down on us. We start to reenact situations and every detail around the circumstance that we now have no control over. But the thing is to be careful about how we control that feeling because it's pretty easy to take it out on whoever is closest to us. And it's a natural response. But I'm sure we don't intend to displace the anger. Bargaining, in this stage, we just want things to go back to the way they used to be. The normal reaction to feeling of helplessness causes us to rationalize things as kind of like if I had noticed the signs, I could have done something different. Or, had I knew this was coming, I would have maybe changed something earlier on. Well, again, we didn't know it was coming. So be careful not to stay in this place of bargaining too long because it'll keep you living in the past and unable to move forward to the present. Depression. Sadness and regret can prompt depression. We can feel that life is passing us by. Getting out of bed can be a challenge combined with feelings of exhaustion. I can tell you personally when all of this started happening, even for me, I, woke up every day feeling exhausted, just kind of a little hungover every day. And so this is pretty common, right? Because of all of the stress that we're feeling. But rest assured, we can start moving to acceptance and no longer wishing for things to go back, but accepting things as they are and associating good emotions with making a transition. And we start to, embrace a healing process and thinking about new opportunities. So, I want to talk about how we are adapting to life's changes. Get your piece of paper and your pencil ready because we're going to do just a quick little exercise. I promise it won't be painful. And we're going to ask a couple of questions. And as you think about your responses, give yourself a one for not me at all, two, sometimes me, three, often that's me, and four, that's really me. So, first question, as breaking news continues regarding our current world state, I accept that my daily routines, including sleep, work, structure, and comfort, are changing as a result of this change. And I'll give you a second to think about it. Okay. Wow, what happened to my screen here? Okay. So, question number two, I'm trying new things and finding different creative ways to approach activities I've always done. So a one is not me at all. Two is sometimes me. Three, often that's me. And four, that's me. I'm looking back at how I manage other challenges in my life to build my confidence that I'll get through this too. Again, one, not me at all. Two, sometimes me. Three, often that's me. And four, that's me. I'm finding ways to feel joy with friends and family. Whether living alone or with others, I am coping well with changes in my social and family relationships. One, not me at all. Two, sometimes me. Three, often that's me. And four, that's me. So let's do a quick little tally of your score and let's see how well we're adapting. So I'll give you a second to add up your score and then we're going to look at where we are. So if you scored a 5 through 8, you're struggling to adapt, which is understandable at this time. I don't think, this is definitely not the time to be super tough on ourselves. It just is what it is. And sometimes we just accept where we are and we just have to embrace that. A 9 through 12 says that you're moderately adapting, but at times still struggling with change. And I get that. I'm probably a 9 through 12 myself on some days. And a 13 through 17, you're adapting really well to change and have accepted it for what it is. So write down a word. And this word is a word that you think that can help you. And when you think about it, I want you to consider how can you live it out daily? For example, my word through this whole process has been gratitude. Gratitude. I get up every morning when I'm kind of still in my sleepy state and I'm lying in my bed, not quite ready to open my eyes, but I lay there in gratitude that all is still well in my life, that folks are still healthy, that all is still great in my life despite what I'm going through in the external environment. And how I live it out daily is I ordered myself a gratitude journal. So every morning when I'm laying there in my state of gratitude, I take a few seconds to jot down that particular day what I'm grateful for. So write down the one word that can help you, and then think about how you can play it out in your daily life. So, how do we turn adversity into success? Well, it can be a challenge, but definitely, I do believe can be done. It is all about at this state, how do we reposition the way we are looking at the adversity? How do you view it? We can belabor the process, but I can tell you it's not going to help us a whole lot, right? To belabor the process. We've got to get through it. So, most often, people who are one of the traits that are people who are pretty well, who are highly successful, they have to overcome adversity in some way. And some of these people even embrace it because they realize that it's a learning, it's a process. They become wiser as a result of it, more evolved to a better version of themselves, and they develop new skills along the way. So, my question is, what aren't you accepting in this moment? What is it that you're not accepting in this moment? Oh, something happened here. There we go. How we continue to think about being successful through adversity is to and the opportunity to reach out to people that I might have never really had time to, or might have been apprehensive because I was thinking they might not be necessarily, welcoming it. Maybe it's somebody that I've wanted to get to know, but I've not had an opportunity to bridge or open that door to start the relationship. But one of the things that I know now on the other side of it, that once I remove the fear out of the equation and eliminated any potential for what I thought was going to be disappointment, I've started to, build relationships with people that, again, I would have not thought that I could have had the opportunity to connect with. So I think that it's time that we make some bold moves. And what would you do if you weren't afraid? What's the thing that you would do if you weren't afraid? Trust in positive outcomes. People who typically leverage adversity into success, they trust that while they're making bold moves and they have the skills and support and resources to succeed, they start to question again whether or not the return on the investment will yield a positive outcome. And so, what I challenge you to do is to think positive and push through those negative kind of emotions, things that are talking negatively to you in your head. And I want you to think about this question: do you trust your abilities to bring you through this? Do you trust your own abilities to bring you through this? One thing I do know is I don't think we give ourselves enough credit for how resourceful we really are. We often can spend a good deal of time talking about the things that we don't like about ourselves or our shortcomings. However, we don't spend enough time really focusing on our strengths and the things that we are really good at. So, but do you trust your abilities to bring you through this? Develop skills and practices that support growth. This is a super um, convenient time, I think, if we look at it in the right way, to start cultivating what I think is a champion's mindset versus kind of a fixed mindset. Believing that we have the abilities that can be developed versus things that are being set in stone, that there's opportunity for growth and that we can enjoy this challenge, right? But still continue to strive to learn more and to consistently develop new skills. So I want you to think about what is one skill that you need to improve or leverage more of. What's the one skill that you can improve or leverage more of that will help you grow? So you heard me mention earlier about having a champion mindset. So what does that really mean? The champion mindset is someone who is flexible and strong. Again, I believe each one of us, I don't know everybody that's on this call, but trust me, we've all been through something and we all have a story to tell and we've all overcome something in our lives. Something. And for that, we have to recognize that takes strength and being flexible. And champions harbor the ability to cope with setbacks and obstacles. And they also have the strong will to succeed and overcome any failure that comes their way. It is the strong belief in themselves or a higher power that keeps them mentally adept and resilient. So, one of the things that I can share with you about myself that I can say truly I have a champion mindset are a couple of things. Being the first in my family to head off to college and, having to figure that out on my own with not having a real roadmap to how I was going to do it. I had resources and support, but it was uncharted territory. Nobody in my family had done it before. So I had to really decide to, get very serious about, having a strong mental agility to work through what I was going to have to accomplish literally on my own with lack of understanding at that point. The other thing is my story is I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, in the city adjacent to Ferguson, Missouri. And with that, I had to learn how to overcome some of those obstacles and have a champion mindset that I was going to be better, do better, and expose my family to better. So we all um, have to create possibilities for ourselves and opportunities and turn some of that pain or obstacles into progress and opportunity. So, how do we do that? Here's the 5 traits of a champion mindset. So, the first trait is of a winning mindset. It's the ability to stay loyal to what you said you were going to do long after the mood that you said you were going to do it in has left you, right? So it's easy to say, oh, I'm going to do this, right? But it's harder that, maybe a week or a month from now that I'm actually still committed to it. So stay committed. You have to have a clear understanding of its reason or meaning personally to you. It has to be close to you like a friend. You've got to figure out that you want this thing more than anything else and have a strong commitment to it. That means setting goals, creating kind of that point of destination for yourself, even little milestone achievements along the way to really gauge that you are progressing and moving closer towards your goal. And so you're having a clear direction, that you keep a healthy drive to get to that point of destination. And yeah, it's going to take you outside of your comfort zone. Change does. I'm not going to tell you that it's going to be easy, but again, it's all about how bad you really want it. Number 2 is discipline. Get good at saying no to things that do not move you towards your yes. So anything that you feel that is going to keep you from keeping the commitment to yourself, you have to start saying no to some of those things. And this is when I call the part where you have to get comfortable with having a me conversation, checking in with me, having that kind of internal conversation with yourself to say, okay, wait a minute, wait, right? This is not aligned with where I want to go. This is causing me more frustration. This is unhealthy for me and what I've committed myself to do. Champions are strategic in what they do, as well as they allow what they allow inside of their space. So this is the time where you start to remove maybe some things from away from you, maybe not out of your life, but maybe not as close to you if it's going to be a distraction. This is the point where you're starting to plant kind of new seeds for yourself, right? This is where you realize, okay, wait a minute. This is what I committed to do, and that is considered a new seed. Now it's about watering the seed, right? The discipline is the watering of the seed. So, number 3 is consistency. Anchor your actions in greatness. So, on a daily basis, you produce nothing less than your very best. It's not enough to be committed and disciplined if you are not consistent. I had a pretty big, pretty big commitment to myself this year. And well, it actually started in August of 19, and I had a huge fitness goal, and I wanted to lose 100 pounds. And Sounded crazy when I said it, but I put it on my vision board at that time, and I called it Thinner Peace because I had been struggling with a health situation that had was this weight gain was kind of the byproduct of that. And I put it on my vision board, and when I did it, I couldn't tell you then what exactly that was going to mean. But I knew that once I put it on the board, that meant I was committing myself to it. So now it was about, how does that play out in my life? So what did I do next, right? So I got on that journey. And so here we are. I'm almost, a few months shy of being back to August again, almost a full year later. And, every day I commit myself and I'm disciplined to say, okay, am I exercising? That was my commitment. Was, this morning before I came and jumped on this call with you all, I went and did a 3.5 mile walk at 7 o'clock this morning. So I committed, right, and I'm disciplined to it, and I work out kind of that plan for myself every day. So where am I at today on my journey? So I'm 74 pounds lighter on my journey today. So number three is consistency, being consistent. And that can be hard for some of us because there's things that can get in our way. We can, let the smallest things derail us, which is okay. Don't beat yourself up about it, but recognize how you got there and course correct, right? How do I do better the next time that I'm faced with this? And just move on. Faith is number four. Believe that the odds are beatable even when the odds say it's impossible, and trust the process. So, the question that I asked earlier, like, do you trust yourself? Yes, you have to trust yourself, right? You have to figure out a way to be okay with you. Be okay, have the faith and the understanding that everything is going to be okay. And it might not happen overnight. That's the reason why there's multiple steps to this, right? If it was one step and it would be easy, God, all of us would be in a whole other place, right? But it is a process. And just recognize that, accept it. And just understanding all the success that you have had, you're still you. You still are evolving. You still are growing. You're still learning, and just having faith in that every day. And number five, have heart. Find the strength to give more even when everything else in your mind is telling you that you have nothing left. Heart is looking at life like a marathon. Those who win marathons use each one of these traits in the race. They're committed, they're trained and eliminate distractions. They know that they can't sprint. It's they know that they just can't sprint, right? To an easy win. That we have faith in every step, and then till towards the very end that we pull from everything that we have to get through to the finish line. So having heart. This time of and space that we're in right now, they and I don't even consider it post COVID. We're still in COVID, right? But this unusual space that we're in, if we look at it in the right way, we can consider it a gift. fantastic things can happen for you in your life when you have time. Time is a gift if you use it in the right way. So I'm going to ask you all, how will you use time? This time that we have where work is ceasing for months at a time, we don't quite know when life will get back to normal, but how will we use this time? What's the one thing? And I'm saying one thing because we don't want to give ourselves or overwhelm ourselves with too many things, right? That we can't accomplish. But what's the one thing that you can do at this time? And once you get on the other side of this, would be considered the gift that came out of this time. So, as usual, I love a little bit of interaction. So, we have about 20 minutes. And honestly, I could sit here and talk for another 20 minutes, and that might be good for some of you all and not so much. But I want to recognize that, sometimes we come to these kinds of webinars and we have questions. Like if you could just leave with getting an answer to a question. And I want to be here for hopefully that question today. So I am open to anything you all want to ask me. So feel free to take yourself off of mute. And I'm going to put myself on video. How about that? Hi. So, what can I share? How did you all score with the questions on how well you're adapting? What's the thing that you might be struggling with right now? Everybody's doing fine?
And I'll say something. I was actually amazed that I came away with a 15 on that. And actually what I really learned from it was that I wasn't giving myself any credit for getting through this pretty well. I mean,
Right.
I think we just kind of get in that just trying to get through every day kind of thing. And so yeah, your word of using gratitude is really resonates with me because I think we forget. You just have to take a minute and go, okay, I did this pretty well today. I'm handling it okay. I think we really, it's easy for us to just to tell ourselves constantly. I mean, I know myself, I tell myself constantly, like, I'm not doing this right. I should be using my time better. I should be doing whatever. But yeah, I was kind of amazed to figure out that I was a 15 on that chart.
You know what?
Doing okay.
So now, Carrie, I have to ask you. So now, since you know this about yourself, right, you didn't give yourself enough credit. Where does that show up in other places in your career and in your personal life, right?
Yeah.
Where you don't give yourself enough
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. I'm very hard on myself all the time, being a mom, being a wife, being a costume designer. But yeah, I'm doing okay. Uh-oh, you froze a little bit.
There we go.
Oh, there.
Carrie's
Yeah.
moving. Okay, let's see. There we go. Carol, I saw you with your hand up when Carrie was about to speak to at the same time. Hi there. How are
Hi.
you?
Fine, thanks.
I think you're on mute.
No,
You're
I
on mute.
unmuted.
We can't hear you.
No, I'm not. I'm on unmute. I'm not muted.
I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Lisa, you can't hear
I
me?
can't hear her all of a sudden.
Oh.
Can
Well,
you
I'm
all
not.
hear me?
Yeah, I'm not muted. Can anybody
wow,
else
what
hear
happened
me?
to our volume? So Thomas, you can hear me, right? All of a sudden I can't hear you guys. That's a weird thing.
Thomas, can you hear me?
Okay, let's see what we got here. Weird thing.
Oh, hi, Lisa.
Okay, let's see what happened here. I don't know.
Lisa, can you hear me?
Okay. Can you all hear me still?
I can hear you, Lisa. Yeah.
Yikes. I can't hear a thing. That's weird. How could I be talking to you now and all of a sudden I can't talk to you?
You know, definitely your video was lagging a little bit. I wonder if the internet connection is funky.
What in the world?
Maybe because in the beginning. Hello?
Lisa, I think we've lost your audio. You're on mute now. Can you hear me?
Doesn't look like her audio's working.
How about now? No?
It's so frustrating on Zoom. She's a little bit lagging for me, where everybody else is okay. So I feel like it might be her internet connection. Just having done a bunch of these Zooms, I know that's it's an issue.
Lisa, you still can't hear us?
Can you hear me? Thomas says yes. I can't hear a thing.
It's so frustrating.
Hmm.
We can hear you, Lisa, but yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right, so I'm going to say this, and I'm hoping that you all can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, well, if I sign out, I'm scared. Like, I lose you. Hold on a second, let's see. See, we are recording everything. Oh my gosh. All right, so I'm going to talk for a second because I want to make sure I leave you with a couple things. So, every single day, think about the one word that you created for yourself today. Where can you put that one word that you see that word every single day? Maybe it's a sticky note on the mirror in the bathroom, right? That every morning when you get up and you go to the bathroom, you stumble in there, right? Barely awake. You can see your sticky note up on the mirror in the bathroom. So, where can you put that one word that you can think about it every day and how you can live it out in your day? And the other thing is, what is the thing that you would do if you weren't afraid? Now, you're not afraid. You can do this, right? Carrie just told us, right? She wasn't giving herself enough credit. So Carrie's already put the challenge out there, right? That she knows that she can do it. Whatever it was that she wrote down,
She knows that she can do it. And I know you all can too. So thank you all for having me. It's always a pleasure for me to connect with the guild. You guys are super dear to my heart for a bigger reason, but you guys are super dear to my heart. So hopefully I'll have the opportunity to come back and talk to you all again. So I wish you all the very best Saturday. Enjoy your weekend, okay? And I'll see you all soon.